lives and our temptation to want what we cannot have will tell us that boundaries is keeping us away from freedom. But watch this, that there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of trees in the garden, and God only restricted them from one. I need somebody to hear this, because as you leave today, the enemy is going to try to suggest to you that the restriction that God has given to you is keeping you from your freedom. But I want you to remember that as God has said you cannot have that one, there are 1,000 others that you're free to have. Y'all don't hear me today. Adam and Eve are told that they can only not have one tree of the entire garden. But watch Satan as Satan challenges, watch this, their boundaries. They together are walking through the garden. Oh, I'm going to say it again. I have permission. They are taking a stroll through the garden. And the Bible says somehow they find themselves at the tree that they are not supposed to. See, because we got to go ahead and disabuse this story. Y'all said that Eve was wandering away from her husband, that she should have been next to him. She should have been closer. She would have never, they were together. The Bible says that the two of them find themselves in the midst of the garden next to the tree they are not supposed to touch, eat from. And if you have two people together, how do they find themselves in exactly the place that God told them that they weren't supposed to be? I don't know. That the Bible does not illuminate this part. Maybe Adam said, let's see another part of the garden today. Maybe they weren't paying attention. They were so busy talking, and you know how we do when we in love. Kiki, we laughing. Find ourselves where we're not supposed to be. But somehow, the two of them were so out of sync, number one, with where they were and the importance of God's instruction, that they wandered into an area that was off limits. Can I talk about this for a second? Because I want to say here today that people who are clear about who they are don't wander into forbidden territory. No. You don't just find yourself in the company of somebody you're not supposed to be in the company of. It was a mistake. No. And there are moments where we're clearer about this than others. Because if we saw someone who was hungry and they robbed a bank, then we would be clear, no, you should have known better. We don't do that. But then there are some other people who will attempt to share that they have been lonely for a while. Because they were lonely, they wandered into territory they shouldn't have been in. Let me turn it. Because there are some moments where we convince ourselves that because we were lonely, because we were hurting, because it had been a while, Can I just talk? I didn't know if this was going to happen for me. It was my moment. Oh, y'all quiet. That I just wandered over here. And I need everybody to understand that even though this is forbidden territory, I need you to understand that this is good for me. Poor boundaries. Unclear about who we are and what our purpose is. Let me go ahead on and ride it all the way in. You know, we've been celebrating with I hope, future Olympian Sha'Carri Richardson. I really hope. I really hope that she's going to be an Olympian. Man, and a couple of years ago, she was in a moment of grief, lost her mom. And in that moment of grief, she consumed some substances that eliminated her from qualifying to compete for her sport. And there was a mixed reaction because while the world understood that in her grief she made a decision to numb her senses in order to be able to get through a moment, the champion in all of us says, but you're an athlete. You should know better. But shouldn't the call be greater for those of us who say that we are children of the King, who say that we are intending to live with God forever? Isn't the call even more grave for us to understand who we are and what it is that jeopardizes what we want?